In just 14 years now that they've been in existence, they've raised close to $75 million.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, they have tremendous support from ESPN and a lot of big name sports celebrities. Dick Vitale is on their board. Mike Krzyzewski is on their board.
Right.
John Saunders from ESPN. So they get a lot of help with that. I know recently Dick Vitale just did a benefit gala within the last month or so that raised over $1 million in one night.
Is that right? Tremendous.
Yeah. So
yes.
the V Foundation is just a great outfit. They're continually rated in the 4-star rating by charity rating systems.
Right, sure.
And only 12%, I believe, of all charities in the country get that 4-star rating.
Good. So they obviously are taking advantage of the funds in a proper way.
Yeah, I believe up until last year, it was 83 cents of every dollar donated was going directly to cancer research, and now they've grown their foundation and their establishment to run the administrative fees and all that. They've grown that to a point where it's basically taken care of now forever. And so now, from now on, every dollar donated to the V Foundation, 100% of it goes directly to cancer research.
That is tremendous. A real need there, and clearly one to know those dollars being well appropriated.
You know it's going to the right place.
How has cancer impacted your family, Rob, or you directly?
Yeah, it has, and that's one of the reasons why this is so meaningful to me to get involved in this. My namesake, my Uncle Bob, died of cancer before I was born. His sister, my Aunt Maureen, also died of cancer before I was born. And my Uncle Bob's daughter, Deb, my cousin, just recently passed away a few years ago of cancer.
No.
And then also a very close friend of mine, her name was Christy, and she passed about 3 or 4 years ago of cancer. And I hadn't kept in touch with her for the last 5 or 6 years of her life or so.
Right.
And I had a dream about her like 2 years ago or so. And just kind of randomly the next day, just to see if I could find any information or what was going on in her life, I Googled her. And the first thing that came up was her obituary. Imagine my shock, to see that. She was only 30. And so I did a little research on what happened to her, and I found some information that showed me that the last year of her life was just, it really wasn't good. She had to go to, she was so sick she couldn't work, so she had to go to this oncology outfit in Minneapolis where she lived to ask them to help pay for her rent and her food and everything. Not only was her physical being taken away from her, but her dignity was too at the end. And I just felt so bad about that. And ever since that year, on my birthday that year, I made a donation to the V Foundation, and now I'm so happy that I can get involved in a larger scale level for that.
With the Myrtle Beach Coaches Association. So you all are going to try to plow the funds.
Yeah, what we're going to do is after each event that we do, 75% of the profits will go to Coastal Carolina Athletics, and the remaining 25% will go to the V Foundation.
Okay, great.
As a society, we've kind of backburnered cancer. It's just so prevalent now that we almost don't even think about it. But there's just some amazing statistics that and I wrote down a few just so I wouldn't forget.
Please pull those out. Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes, Rob.
Just so I'd make sure I got them right. Cancer kills an American every minute of every day in this country. More than 1.4 new cancer cases will be diagnosed this year. 3 of 4 American families will have a member diagnosed with cancer. So almost 600,000 Americans will die this year of cancer. And 1 out of every 2 men and 1 out of every 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime.
Say that again. 1 out of every 2 men.
1 out of every 2 men. 1 out of every 3 women. So
think about lots of types of cancer, not necessarily terminal cancer.
No,
Sure.
Yeah, many. There's great news as far as cancer research goes too. That many people are surviving this. But think about those statistics. 1 out of every 2 men. That's me and you, Greg.
Yeah.
Let's
hope it's
statistically. Let's hope it's neither of us.
That's right.
Let's hope that there are some great scientists out there right now that are devoting their life to this, and God bless them for doing that. And let's hope that, someday soon, one of them is going to figure it out.
It's tough to think about how you do, when you raise funds, how you determine who to give it to. But I'm so glad a commitment to the V Foundation, obviously to Coastal Carolina sports. For viewers who may have missed the first couple of minutes, you talked about why there's a true need within the athletic department there at Coastal Carolina. Drive that home again real quick.
Sure. You know, there's so many other things involved in funding athletic departments. Like, let's take, for example, this past weekend, Coastal Baseball has just been doing tremendous this year, and they were able to host a regional tournament here at Coastal Federal Field, and it was a great turnout. You know, a couple of the games sold out. Right. You know, I went to almost every game for the weekend. It was just a tremendous atmosphere. But that costs Coastal money. They have to put in a bid to the NCAA to be able to host that, and it's a six-figure bid.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yes, it is.
Wow.
And so, you know, there's all sorts of costs like that. But look at the tremendous value we got on ESPN all weekend, you know, and, you know, of course they get that back in ticket sales and concessions and things like that as well. But just to have that upfront capital to be able to put in those bids like that and, you know, to fund these programs. It's very expensive to run an athletic department for a university, and we as a community that supports that, and we like to go to the games and everything, and we need to do everything we can to give them those advantages, because look at how far Coastal sports has come. I mean,
oh yeah.
Just in the 4 or 5 years of the football program, they made the playoffs this year, which was the second fastest of any Division I AA program to ever make the playoffs.
Oh, come on, is that right?
Since its inception. It was the second. Georgia Southern, I believe, made the playoffs in a quicker amount of time than Coastal did, but second fastest ever in the history of NCAA.
Can you imagine being a '96 graduate, what's happened over the last decade, but even over the last 5 years,
It's so
Rob?
fantastic. You know, when my classmates come back to town, I usually have 3 or 4 of them in every year, and we go to a game. And all of them just look at the football stadium and the atmosphere on a Saturday afternoon, and all of us are like, well, I wish this was here when we were here.
10 years ago, that's right.
Because it's so much fun to get out there on a Saturday afternoon and go to a football game or get to a basketball game at Kimball Arena, and the excitement of the new arena going to be built on campus there for the basketball team, and there's just so much tremendous stuff going on with Coastal Athletics.
What's the best part for you, Rob? Excuse me, Rob, I'm thinking about someone. Well, what's the best part about being a coach? Well, what for you is the most memorable aspect of that for you over the last, you've been a coach for a heck of a long time.
Yeah, now it's been,
I don't want to date you there, that's right.
You know, almost 20 years, because even before coaching here at Coastal back in the mid to early 90s, I coached in high school as well.
Is that right? Great.
It's been a long time. What I really like about it is, and this was our big thing at the University of Toledo, we consider ourselves a family. Right. You know, because especially when you deal with these college kids, almost all of them are away from home, you know, for the first time. And they don't get to see their family very much, a couple times a year, because they even have more time commitments than the average student does, you know. They don't get to go home sometimes for Thanksgiving break or for Christmas break or spring break, because they're competing, you know?
Sure.
So we really consider ourselves a family, and I know that Coach Connie, the track coach at Coastal, you know, they have that same, you know, kind of feel, and I know that a lot of the football student athletes kind of think of Coach Bennett as a father figure type guy, you know. So there's that whole family feel to it, which is great, because when you're away from home and you can't rely on your family, you know, you got your teammates and your coaches there that are your pseudo family there, and that's a great thing to have when you're away from home.
That's tremendous. You felt the same way when you were competing.
I did. You know, I mean, like I said, that adversity that I went through, if I hadn't had my coaches there that really cared about me, I don't know what would have happened that year.
We just got a couple of minutes left. Again, this Saturday. Check-ins at noon. The tournament kicks off at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Man of War, right off of Highway 501 in Carolina Forest. Give me a call at 443-6222. We'll get you signed up for the tournament. It's going to be a great day of fun. Okay, absolutely. And what was it about this area that really drove you to move on back, Rob? You know, think about being away. You said 8 years in Toledo. I've been away I was away for almost 10 years total since graduation. What I really liked about Coastal and Myrtle Beach was I moved around a lot as a kid. I never really had a hometown, really. And when I came here to Coastal, it was the first place that I ever really felt like was a hometown, and not just Coastal itself, but the whole Myrtle Beach area, and just absolutely loved it, you know. And I couldn't ever really answer the question, where are you from? Because I lived in so many different places. But now I can say I'm from Myrtle Beach, and I really feel like this is my home.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. mbcoaches.com's been up for a little while. You've got some good info on there.
It has. We have some great info on our organization. You can find out all the information on the events and some upcoming events that we have as well.
Yeah, sure. What are some of the other events real quick?
We're going to hope to have a golf tournament right around the first football game coming up this fall.
Thinking,
so kind of a kickoff classic, you know,
sure.
for that. And then we're going to be hosting a reunion for the coastal track and cross country programs from the 90s.
Great.
Kind of we've already got about 40 kids from that era, from around 92 to 97 or so, that want to come back. A lot of them haven't been back since graduation, so everybody's looking forward to that. We're going to host a whole weekend of events for them, and then you know, once the school year starts, we'll try to host some things on campus for the students, maybe some volleyball tournaments. They got the nice sand courts out there by the dorms. Maybe
absolutely.
we can do some Saturday afternoon tournaments for them. Maybe we can do some 3-on-3 basketball stuff, just all sorts of stuff that we can get the students involved.
That's exciting, Rob. I love hearing it. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Rob Warren coming up next. You heard those startling figures from Rob. Cancer kills an American every minute of every day. Every minute of every day. Think about the last 30 minutes of this show. Think about how many folks have been impacted nationwide. You know, it's not just about cancer. The excitement here for this Saturday's golf tournament is supporting athletes and supporting the need to help support athletes in so many ways, for academics as well as the achievement that they do on and off the course, off the court, off the football field or otherwise. There's so many different aspects and ways that you can support them. You know, for Rob, having been an athlete, having coached athletes, and now finding a real passion to support athletes financially, as well as so many folks that are impacted by cancer. You can be a part of that. Pick up the phone, 843-443-6222. That's 443-6222, or you can visit mbcoaches.com. mbcoaches.com. Check-ins at noon. Kickoffs at 2, out there at Man of War, right there at Carolina Forest. Real easy to find. Get out there. Very reasonable. Pick up the phone, 843-443-6222. Find a way to support this tremendous cause.